Okay, guys, we need to talk about this because you have no idea how controversial this is about to get. Are you seeing what I am seeing? Brother looks like Captain America that's just come out of a Hydra test capsule. And if you're wondering, Supreme Leader, what the hell am I looking at? Well, this is the current transformation of what the Enhanced Games is calling their first superhuman, James Magnussen. And he has actually just carried out the first attempt to break the world record as natural as Liver King.
I've always told the truth, I still tell the truth.
So today, we're going to be talking about if he has broken the world record, the controversy that it has now caused, and what the Enhanced Games is cooking up. Because if they do what they say they're going to do, 2026 is about to be the most insane year we have ever lived through. So, you know what time it is. It is time to stop the yapping and let's pay attention to the background because it's very different and it's new and improved. Get rocking! Oh, hi guys. Don't mind me in my new and improved studio. Okay, I need to ask, how the hell am I finding out just now that there's going to be an Olympics next year where all of the athletes get to use performance-enhancing drugs? And if, like me, you didn't know either, it's called the Enhanced Games. And while it has absolutely nothing to do with the official Olympics. In fact, I think the Olympics, low-key, kind of hate them for it. In fact, they definitely hate them for it. The Enhanced Games promise to have all of the same events. So just picture that in your head. This is crazy. So not only are they going to have the sprinting, the running, the fishing. No, not fishing. They're going to have combat sports too. And this is all while the athletes can pump and juice however they see fit. And, I mean, look, let's be honest, on that combat sports point, that feels a little too far, no? Because think about it, like the objective for, let's say, the 100-meter sprint is how fast can a human run on steroids, pushing the human capabilities. But with combat sports, it's like, how hard can another human hit another human's skull when you... Because also remember, on steroids, it's not like your ability to take damage has gone up. I think it's just going to be brutal. Anyway, the idea for this whole thing was created by the Enhanced Games founder, Aaron D'Souza. And he says they don't want to just break a world record, they want to break every world record there is. He said, we live in a world transformed by science, from vaccines to AI, but sport has stood still until today. We are not updating the rulebook. We are rewriting it, and we're doing it safely, ethically, and boldly. He claimed that these games will fundamentally change the trajectory of not just sports, but humanity as a whole, which is kind of why they're calling these first two athletes the first superhumans. He essentially wants to see how insane can human beings, if they have done everything possible. And this is where Captain Australia, James Magnussen, comes into this. Because think about it, for the Enhanced Games, it's really hard to move past this like wacky fringe idea that no one would take seriously. So to change that narrative, they kind of need like some serious world-class athletes to get involved and compete. Problem is, no world-class athlete wants to be the first mover in this. Because think about it, using steroids in professional sports is like the biggest of the no-nos that you can know. You get the point. I mean, think about Lance Armstrong. Brother got stripped of everything that he ever won. And when you hear his name today, you're not thinking the greatest cyclist that ever lived. You're thinking, oh, that guy that got caught cheating using steroids. So how do you change the game in that? Well, Enhanced Games hit the athletes where they hurt currently, their pockets. Another thing I didn't know, did you know that most Olympians don't get paid a base salary and most are driven into debt? And when I started looking into this, it gets even crazier because tennis players who lose the first round of Wimbledon, they take home double the prize money that gold medal winning US Olympians receive. That's crazy. Now, every country pays their athletes differently for competing in the Olympics, but it's only if you actually win a medal, which is, remember, very rare. But think about it. As an Olympic athlete, you got to be training harder than anyone, eating better than most people. You got to be getting training from the best coaches. You got to have the best equipment. You got to pay for travel, all of that. How do you do that on no base salary? And then, even if you do win a gold medal after all of that, the US gold medalists, for example, only receive $37,500. That's crazy. And this is once every 4 years that they're competing at the Olympics. Yeah, there's a few other things in between. That is almost nothing. So the Enhanced Games saw this and they said, all right, anyone who competes in the Enhanced Games, they will not only receive a base salary, but they will be competing for prize winnings, which will be larger than any other comparable event in history. This is where things get juicy, because hearing about this, James, who has now been like retired from professional swimming for 6 years, well, he gets a call one day from his friends who have a podcast, and they start asking him his thoughts on the Enhanced Games, the Steroid Olympics. And he casually, almost jokingly, not really thinking about it too much, he says,
if they put up $1 million for the 50 freestyle world record, I'll come on board as their first athlete, I'll juice to the gills, and I'll break it within 6 months.
Now, I don't think James had any idea that some little brief call with his buddies would not only get picked up by every major media outlet almost in the world, but also the Enhanced Games themselves saw this and then tweeted, "Challenge accepted." And then because there wasn't many professional athletes being accepted into the, Steroid Olympics at the time, they made it a little bit extra competitive, and they gave the same offer to another 4-time Olympian, Christian Gokulemev. So these two athletes accept the deal and they start jumping on a mix of steroids. James apparently went on a concoction of testosterone, peptides, and some other substances. And Christian, he didn't actually disclose what he took, but if you look at the physical transformations, they are undeniable, especially in James. He said that he has never felt more athletic in his life, and he was able to train longer and harder than he was ever able to before. And this is despite him being in his mid-30s now. He gained a staggering 5 kg in 10 days. That is... As someone who goes to the gym every day, that is unbelievable. And he said that he is now lifting weights that would have folded him like a deck chair before. But then, right before they were about to attempt this first world record, something very unexpected happened. But not even nearly as unexpected as our 3 sacrificial lambs for today. Because you see something different about these 2 bastards? 3 bastards. That's the state that the Empire has got to now. We're just handing out bribes to get on the wall. You know what? I don't even care anymore. Accepted. Yeah, I know there was an assassination attempt that was failed last week with this, and this will not happen again. Look, I'm not proud of this, and all 3 of you bring shame to the Empire. You do. Remember, they bribe to remind you to subscribe, and that is important. Heinous, immoral activities. Subscribe to the channel! Point is, subscribe. Back to it. So when it came time for the 2 swimmers to attempt to break this world record, it wasn't James that won the $1 million. In fact, in his 3 attempts, he actually swam slower than when he was natural and his PBs. What the hell? I mean, to be fair, look, brother. I'm surprised he didn't just sink to the goddamn floor. The documentary crew who were there to witness James break this record actually captured the 31-year-old Greek swimmer Christian break it instead. So not only did he claim the $1 million that was supposed to be for poor old James, Captain Australia, but he actually broke the 50-meter world record that was held by a Brazilian swimmer, I'm assuming natural, since 2009. James said, "I love Christian. He's a great guy. That $1 million for him was completely life-changing. It was more money than he had ever made in his entire swimming career. And he did that in a couple of months. I was so happy for him, but that was meant to be me doing that. That was a hard moment." Now, this is where things get real controversial, because the wider swimming community hate the fact that Christian has now changed his Instagram bio to the fastest swimmer in history. And in that video of him breaking this world record, the comments read, "This is not a world record. What a joke of a title. Steroids, an illegal suit, clean water, and a terrible finish." Yeah, they're pissed. And let me be real with you. There is plenty more people absolutely hating this idea of the Steroid Olympics. The head of the US anti-doping agency called it a dangerous clown show. 2-time Olympic champion Kieran Perkins said that it was borderline criminal and that someone would die if this was allowed to go ahead. In fact, after James and Christian attempted this world record, just today, the governing body, the World Aquatics Organization, just issued a blanket ban on any competitors that have taken part in the Enhanced Games, and they're urging others to do the same as well. So automatically, just for doing that, they're now done. The Enhanced Games, however, has doubled down, and they have now officially announced that they will be holding the first Enhanced Games in May 2026 in, of course, Vegas, where not only James will get another shot at that $1 million, but they will have juiced up athletes from all different sports. Apparently there'll be about 100 different athletes. We don't know who their names are. They'll be announced closer to the event. But they say that they're going to be paying $250,000 to each gold medal. Compare that to 37 from the Olympics. And $1 million to anyone who breaks a world record. So yeah, you can see, like, from a pure entertainment perspective, it looks pretty damn fun to watch. But then from a moral perspective, it's pretty conflicting, I'm not gonna lie. So what do you think? Based on their first two superhumans, should the Enhanced Games be allowed to go ahead and rewrite sports and fundamentally change humanity? Or should it be stopped immediately? And it is an abomination for sports. Let me know, but that is it for today. I will see you again on Friday. And so have a good week. Remember to subscribe, and I will see you on Friday. Woo! Don't fucking bribe me again. You hear that? You hear me?